Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and fix that for you. All right, so I am here with everybody today a couple minutes late. I'm sorry about that. So today we had some issues. It wound up being my issue. It was a matter of refreshing the browser and syncing everything up, the broadcast settings and everything else. So I'm sorry for that slight delay, and I will make sure that we get a full class today, and we get our full final lesson in on presentation skills. Okay, so looks like we have lots of familiar faces in the chat. I'd like to thank everybody here. We have French Leo was the first to comment. Good job, French Leo. Sarbajit was right behind with a hello. Akram is here. Nora is here. Nora, Steve is here. Franz, Vivek, hello. I said Steve, I think. Just making sure I say hello to everybody. We have Zamara. Zamara, is that right? It's spelled with an X. Let me know how to pronounce your name. I'd be happy to pronounce it correctly if I'm not. We also had a couple late starters. We have our other Nora. Kavita. Hello, Kavita. How are you? And let's see who else jumped on. Sandu. Hello, Sandu. Luca. Marcelo is here. Charlene. Milanek. Who else do we have? I think that's everybody. I think I got everybody. Oh, the beard. Yeah. So you may notice the beard's gone. It was a mistake, actually. I was shaving and I hit a little spot, and so I had to get rid of the beard. What do you guys think? Should I bring the beard back? Should I stay clean shaven? Do I look like too much of a baby right now? You guys let me know. Let's do a vote, class vote. If you guys think I should bring back my beard, maybe I'll bring back my beard. I could grow it out nice and long. That'd be fun, right? Xiomara. Oh, wow, that's such a cool name. Xiomara. Am I saying it correctly now? Xiomara. That's a really cool spelling and a really cool pronunciation. Where are you from, Xiomara? Akram thinks I have a baby face. Yeah, me too. Sarbajit likes the beard better. Nora says, I must bring it back. I must bring it back, Nora says. She's probably pointing her finger at me. You must bring it back, Joshua. All right, Sandu says bring it back as well. GS. Do you go by GS? Do you go by Sandu? What should I call you? Sounds like most people want me to bring it back. Okay. All right. I'll start working on it. Grow the beard back. And I'll be more careful shaving in the future. Nihat. Hello, how are you? Sangai says no. I don't know if you're talking about the beard or not. Noor says I look like a really nice guy. Thank you. I think I'm a really nice guy. Most of my friends and family think I'm pretty nice. I think you could ask them. All right, and Fanny's here as well. So we're gonna get started right away. If you're a premium subscriber, you still can send in your presentations, okay? So this is English for academic purposes. If this is your first time, I'm Joshua Porter. I'm the director at Spokane College of English Language in beautiful Spokane, Washington, where we have way too much snow right now. This is my college website, usa-english.com. I'll put it in the chat. You can learn a little bit about Spokane and some of our university pathways. This is the class that we're teaching right now in this class right here. We also teach it at my college, English 140, English for academic purposes. I'm going to go ahead and take attendance for our premium subscribers who are here in class or logged online somewhere in the world. And then I'm going to go ahead and go into where the notes are so you can find them if you want. If you're a premium subscriber, you get access to all this curricula. You get feedback, corrections, and homework. This week we have one special rock star student who's been doing really, really well, sending me multiple copies of his presentation. Sarbajit, thank you for that. You've been a great student doing your homework. You get the Star Award of the Week for quickest turn in of homework and most turn in of homework. So you win both of those. Some other students are still working on their presentations because they have, full-time jobs, or they're full-time students at other colleges, or have families and important things to take care of. That's totally fine. That's what we're here for. This class kind of moves and works with you in your daily lives. Many of you are up right now at 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. You're staying up late. I know it's 10 o'clock some places. We're in all different time zones, yet we come together at this time every week to have this amazing class. So thank you, everyone who's here, everyone who shows up. And if you're a premium subscriber, and if I'm sending you video homework and video corrections, I can still do that for you later. But I just wanted to say a special thanks to Sarbajit, because he did a great job of listening to my video feedback. I sent him video corrections and said, hey, I think you can improve here, you can change this to make it better. And a day later, he would send back his corrected presentation, and he's been kind enough to share that with us. So I'm going to recap what we talked about in these previous classes, in case today's your first time, and then you can go back and watch the videos. But then Sarbajit has given me permission to share his presentation, to show you feedback, and then also he's given me permission to show an example of his presentation, so him talking. So we'll look at those, and we'll talk about how you improve your presentation, how you make them better, and what skills we should focus on. Also, this is going to be, I'm watching the chat very closely here. If I miss one of your questions, just come back and ask me again. Vivek, Sarbajit is knowledge is free. So, and he's sharing the website to become a premium subscriber, which I'll share with you as well. Sarbajit is right. It is smrtenglish.com/live/live. You can see I will post this link in the chat as well. And you can become a premium subscriber. You can get a free month trial, and these are the teachers. You can be Abby's student, Sean's student, Neil's student, or this goofy guy's student. And we'll make sure that you get personalized feedback. We'll make sure you learn what you need to learn to improve your English. I always suggest coming and living in an English-speaking country. Come and live in Canada. Come and live in the United States. That's the best way to do it, but this is the next best thing, because you do get interaction with native speakers. So I can help you if you need access. Also, if you need help with any of it, Zach@smartenglish.com. He's the one that can set you up with the classes. Send him an email. If he doesn't get back to you, or if you have more questions, you can email me too, joshua.live@smartenglish.com. All of that's on there. So back to our presentation skills. We talked about some of our presentation skills. We talked about what makes a good presentation, and we even looked at some good presenters. So this is how we organize our presentation. Introduction, we give our general statement, we give our thesis statement. Your thesis statement is your main message of your presentation. There's lots of different types of presentation too. There is argumentative presentation, where you want to prove a point. There's persuasive, where you want to convince someone. There is informative. There are analytical presentations, where we're analyzing a subject, and we're going to go into analytics in a little bit also, another class series. And then we have informative presentations that are step-by-step, how-to type presentations. So please, as we go through this class, this is not your last opportunity, but this is the focused opportunity to ask specific questions about presentation skills, delivery, how to make it better. Let's talk about all that today. I'm going to take a lot of questions from the chat and hopefully help you improve a presentation if you're working on it, or show you how to create your first strong presentation. Maxime from Belarus, hello, how are you? Oh my gosh, French Leo. You probably speak more languages than English in here than anybody, I think. It's awesome, but let's try to keep the chat focused to English, yeah? Arishi says, my internet's slow and I'm lacking. That's okay. Change your bit rate of the video. I'll look a little more pixelated, but maybe then it'll look like I still have a beard, huh? And yes, you can convert the timing there. Okay, we're getting a little off topic, but let me go ahead and finish talking about the outline, and then we'll look at an actual presentation, and we'll talk about what is good, how to improve your own presentation. So take notes, and if you don't know how to take notes well, then go back and watch our series on note-taking. There's a great episode on note-taking. So we have our introduction and our general statement. Your general statement is just your topic. And your introduction for a presentation is a little bit different than an essay in that you introduce yourself. You say, hello, my name is Joshua Porter, and I'm going to be your presenter on English for academic purposes today. You want to say who you are. So if you've studied writing, and I'm going to go into my drive right now because I want to make some class notes for us. I want to actually write a few things down that may help us, okay? So if you've studied writing or essays, let's call them essays, and presentations are similar. And don't worry, I'm going to make this bigger for us. Okay, these are our notes for today. Today is, oh my goodness, the 9th of March, 2017. Class notes. And let's go ahead and make this full screen so I can really zoom in. So essays and presentations are similar in the following ways. They both contain a thesis statement. Both use general statement and thesis statements. So we want to talk about the general idea and the thesis of our presentation because you have a purpose, you have a point. In a how-to presentation, the point is to give the information on how to do something so that when someone else watches that presentation, they then have the capability and the knowledge to do that. A persuasive presentation has the thesis statement of you should believe this because blah, 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 blah. That's the rest of your presentation. This is true. You're trying to convince someone of something that is an opinion. You're trying to convince them that that is a belief they should have, right? Oh, Rosa has exams. We're going to miss Rosa. Rosa's another amazing premium subscriber. We love Rosa. Okay, here's a question about the presentation from the French Leo. Thank you for that. An easy question. Should we are concise or longer? Oh, French Leo. Okay, here's an opportunity for me to help you with your general grammar as well. Double learning. It's double learning. We're learning about the grammar of your question, and I'm going to answer your question. How great is that? So, an easy question about the presentation. Should we be? You don't want are. Here you want should we be, because should, the modal auxiliary should, when we follow it, we want to use be. Like, I should be taller. If my parents are both tall and I'm born short, I would say I should be taller. Should we, but this is question form, so we invert the subject and the auxiliary here, or excuse me, the full verb. Should we be concise? Or, now does anyone know the antonym of the word concise? You could change the sentence and say, should we be concise? Or write more? Or should our presentation be longer? But we can't be longer. You can say that sentence, but it's very, very casual. And this is academic English, right? Yeah, where is Nitesh? Nitesh is usually here too. Nitesh, are you here? Oh, there you are. Okay, awesome. All right, so should we be concise or there's a few different words you could use here. Exposition, explanatory. I would just change it for simplicity right here to keep your question meaning and say, should we be concise or can our presentation be longer? Okay, now your grammar of your question is a little bit better. So that's a great question, French Leo. Should we be concise or can our presentation be longer? This depends on a few different things. We want to consider our audience, our location, our subject, and well, considering all of these things, we should think of our purpose. Okay? And I'm going to talk about all of these briefly because French Leo's question is great. Thank you for asking it. Samo likes how fast I'm typing. Awesome. I'm going to answer your question, French Leo. Sorry, I'm reading the chat here to make sure I don't miss anybody's question. And then, Sarbajit, I'll answer yours after that. So, Sarbajit's question was, should we be concise or can it be longer? Think about your audience. Okay, is your audience, how long do you like to listen to a presentation? I mean, you sit here for this hour class, but it's also dynamic. You get to participate in the chat, right? If you don't get to participate, if your job is to sit and to listen, it is very hard for any human being to sit more than 10 or 12 minutes without interacting or doing something. Your mind starts to wander, you think of other things, so that can be very difficult. So in that way, you should be concise. You should fit as much information as you can into those first 10 or 12 minutes. Now, you watch TED Talks maybe online. If you don't, I highly suggest it. Check it out. I think it's TED.org. Maybe it's .com. Let's find out. We have the internet right here. Let's see if it's .com. TED.com. So check that out. This has a ton of great presentations by speakers from all over the world. 99% of it is in English, so it's great English practice for you. So definitely check that out. Okay, people can feel bored. Sarbajit's right, boring. It can be boring if people don't engage the audience, right? So consider your audience, and that way you should be concise. Consider your location. Is this a place where there might be distractions? If there are many distractions, that is another reason to be concise. You want to deliver the most information possible in the shortest amount of time, an economy of language, right? I've used this phrase before, and it's not mine. I steal it from someone else, but an economy of language is so important. What this does is it packs as much meaning, condenses as much meaning as possible into a short sentence or a short paragraph or a short essay. I used to challenge my own professors in college with this very idea. They would give me parameters for my essay. They would say, Joshua, you have to write an essay on this topic or address this prompt, and you must write a minimum of 4 pages, but no more than 6. I inevitably would turn in a 3-page essay, which I knew turning it in was not following their guidelines, and I don't suggest doing this because you could really irritate your professors or make them upset, or they would simply not look at it because it doesn't fit their criteria. But I was very fortunate in that I had amazing professors, amazing teachers that read the paper where I didn't follow the rules and gave me good feedback. And I usually got high marks. I usually got very high marks because I was able to answer their prompt effectively in that shorter period of time or space. With a presentation, it's time. With an essay, it's space, right? Number of pages, number of words. So, we want to give as much meaning as possible in that condensed amount of time. So your location, maybe it's outdoors, maybe you're presenting outdoors, or maybe you're indoors, but your windows of your classroom or lecture hall are near a busy street and you have some sort of time constraint where if you don't finish your presentation by lunchtime, the lunch hour traffic will just disrupt your presentation. There's a lot of reasons to consider location. Can your audience hear you well? Are you going to have to shout and speak louder so they can hear you? If so, you don't want your presentation to be really long because you'll lose your voice. And then, you have no voice to go sing karaoke later. Your subject matter might be really complex. Complex ideas are often hard to present on. If you've watched presentations by Neil deGrasse Tyson or Bill Gates talking about computers, he usually tries to simplify his language unless he's presenting to a bunch of other engineers, developers, designers. You have to know your audience to know how complex your subject is going to be. Sarbajit's presentation, which we'll look at in a little bit, taught me new knowledge. I learned things that I did not know about, and he did a great job of defining those subjects for us, which you will see in a moment. But you have to consider your subject to know how concise you should be. You need to explain enough that we can understand your general topics. So you can't be so vague as to describe a topic but not go into detail where we're left as your audience saying, well, I don't know what you're talking about. That's not helpful. But we can't go too specific where we bore our audience to death by trying to define every single term that we use. We have to find that balance. It's a matter of balance. And then your purpose. Is your purpose to bore your audience? No, of course not. You don't want to be bored, so don't be boring, right? I don't want to be bored, so I'm not going to be boring. You want to engage your audience, and you want to have enough change in your presentation where you are resetting them if it does have to go more than 10 or 12 minutes. You want to, move around a little bit or have a lot of visual presentations behind you. That sort of thing is very helpful. So I know that's a really long explanation, but my holistic answer is find a balance between a longer presentation and a concise presentation. Find a balance somewhere in there. But if you have to choose between the two, it is my opinion that you should lean towards concise. Concise is better than longer, but you should have a balance of concise and longer. Is that helpful? Hopefully. If you have more questions, ask me. I'm scrolling back up because I know I missed a few questions here. Knowledge is free was the next question, I think. And Sarbajit says, I don't know many technical rules of grammar, but it comes autocorrectly in my sentences. So maybe you're using Grammarly or a program that autocorrects your grammar. It comes automatically, maybe. You don't know the grammar rules, but it comes automatically. Is that a good sign or a bad sign? Okay, I think I understand what you're talking about. You're saying you don't understand the rules, but you can use language effectively. Is that right? That's a good thing. That's a very good thing. As an English teacher, my job is to teach grammar rules, structure, formulae, the way to make present perfect, simple, passive, or whatnot. But ultimately, I really don't care if you as my students know what all of that is called unless you want to become a linguist or an English teacher yourself. Only under those circumstances is it important. Otherwise, it doesn't matter if you know the rules or what something is called. If you can use the language effectively, you're using it effectively. Now, I would say that using the language effectively, becoming fluent, is a matter of speaking, listening, reading, and writing. All of those things are so connected that it takes all four to become fluent. Listening, speaking, reading, writing. Now, different students for different purposes may not need one aspect of that. Reading and writing are connected, and listening and speaking are connected. You can't really do reading without writing or writing without reading, and you cannot really do listening without speaking or speaking without listening. So, there's two fundamental hemispheres of English, and you could get by in some situations with some needs speaking and listening and be fine. Or you could get by with just reading and writing. Maybe your job is to email people all day, and so you just need reading and writing. Maybe your job is to speak with people, or you just want it for travel purposes. Then you can get by with listening and speaking pretty much. You still might want to learn to read effectively, to read signs and maps and things like that. But to become totally fluent, we need to perfect those 4 areas and those 2 hemispheres of English. So it is a good sign if you can use it. Ultimately, as a teacher, I really don't care if you know what to call the grammar structure if you're using it correctly. Call it whatever you want. You hear people say present progressive or present continuous. It's the same thing. If you know how to use it, it doesn't matter what it's called. There's probably a lot of linguists out there that would be really angry with me right now for saying that, but write me an email. Okay, so that's a great question, Sarbajit. Thank you for that. Sengai says, how many sentences do we have to write? Josh, Kativa says, Josh, I have a problem with writing skills. I don't know how to improve. Could you suggest me? Advise is the word you want there. Or suggest something to you. I can advise you, but I cannot suggest you. I can suggest that you study blah, blah, blah. Just helping you with your grammar there, Kativa. Kavita. And yeah, absolutely. We're going to shift topics after this class. This class is presenting and presentations, but we'll talk a little bit more about it later, okay? Read a lot to improve your writing. Deary says read a lot. Yes, that's a very good suggestion. And again, we'll talk more about it. Arshi says, Arshi? Is that how I say it? Arishi? Arshi? That I love watching TED Talks. Me too. Yeah. Okay. I'm just reading through the comments here to make sure I get everybody's questions. Is there some video on Smart Live, how to write essays? Yes, there is, and we're going to learn more about that too. I think Sean has some great videos on essay writing, and they are, I believe, for intermediate students. But Sean is a great teacher when it comes to writing. We're going to go through some advanced writing in some of our classes in the future. Also, this is more like APA pre-English 101 prep, or perfecting your writing skills for, say, a master's program or something like that. During the presentation, we should not look at the screen behind us, right? Right, yes. We shouldn't look like this. Well, I guess this way, right? I shouldn't look like this and read off the screen. That's distracting. It's a little rude to our audience, and it also shows that we haven't practiced our presentation. If I don't know what is on the screen behind me, I haven't practiced. I should know all my slides. I should look really quick to check that it's the correct slide, but then I should be able to present directly facing my audience. That's a very important tip. Are we going to go around the whole day without doing anything useful? Are we going to blank around the whole day without doing anything useful? Fill in the blank, please. So, little off topic, but we're asking, it sounds like a grammar type quiz. This is the sentence from Ahmed. Are we going to blank around the whole day without doing anything useful? You guys can chat about that if you want. Ahmed, make sure you're not trying to get us to do your homework, okay? Maybe you just like this sentence and you're curious and you want to know. Yeah, this isn't a place to get homework answers, just in case anybody thought about that. We're doing presentation skills, so I will put this up here. I think it's a great question. But today we're talking about presentation skills. So, Monique says, what is cooking here? Kind of lost. We're talking about presentation skills, and we're answering questions in the chat, so it does seem like we're shifting topics a lot, but we are going to answer as many questions as we can. about presentation and presentation skills. So making a presentation, delivering a presentation, and then we're going to look at some examples. A lot of people are writing at the moment. You guys are going to be happy about our next series. Okay, let's see. I'm just making sure I hit all these questions. Okay, here's the next great question here. Nora. Oops. So I'm gonna get rid of that one, just because unrelated to presentations. Nora's question is, how can we stop feeling nervous in front of the audience? Great question. Here's a couple things I'd like to tell you. You may never stop feeling nervous in front of the audience, but what will help reduce that nervous feeling is a couple things. One, realizing that your audience doesn't know you're nervous until you tell them. They don't know. I could be nervous right now. I'm not really nervous. I mean, I know I'm talking to the whole world right now, and I know it's going on YouTube and being recorded, and anyone can look at it. So that's something that can elevate your heart rate, right? It can make you feel a little nervous knowing that you're talking to a lot of people. But you wouldn't know if I was nervous or not unless I tell you, if I say I'm nervous, or if I become so aware myself that I'm nervous that it shows through. If I start to shake. I was told this by someone who had presented to many, many colleges in many, many countries all over the world. This person said to me, even when you feel like you are shaking like an earthquake, your audience probably does not feel it, does not see it, does not know it. Since you were the one feeling it, it's really easy to feel like it's a huge movement, right? Your shaking is a huge movement. But more than likely, your audience doesn't notice it at all. It just seems like a casual movement. So you can mask it. You can avoid the idea of your audience knowing you're nervous by just realizing that they don't know you're nervous. I'm trying to find, I wish I remembered exactly how this was explained to me, because it was great advice and it always made me feel better. Just the idea that your audience doesn't know if you're nervous or not. So unless you give them some evidence, unless you tell them, hey, I'm really nervous, or unless you let your feelings get so out of control that you drop your papers and you're like, I don't know what to do. They're not gonna know. And the first time you do that is gonna be hard. The next time will be a little easier. The next time even more easy, and on and on and on. You can build up to it to the point where you don't feel your own nervousness at all. Start small, present to your family, your friends, and then go bigger. Present to a small class, or if you feel brave, present to a huge audience and see how you feel about it. That's how you get your nervousness down, is you just realize that they don't know, and go from there. The other thing you can do is, a lot of people are nervous if they look someone right in the eyes. Don't look at them in the eyes. Look at their forehead. Look at this part of their head. It makes you feel less nervous, and it still gives them the attention that you should give your audience. You should look around. You should engage your audience. So those are a couple tips. Vladimir, hi. How are you? Good to see you. Okay. We should avoid esoteric words with persons, people's the plural, which are not working on the subject. Thank you for the reply. Yes, avoid esoteric language for, we would say, the layman, or someone who is not specific in that field of study. Good job, French Leo. Nandish says, absolutely, undoubtedly, unquestionably, 100% completely true. That's a great sentence. Good job. Or, good response. What do you do when your heart says, first think what is your first priority? For late reply, whatever you do, it comes from your heart. I'm not sure I know exactly what you're saying. Maybe you can ask again in a different way. Or you might have been commenting on another student's comment. Pronunciation is the best corner to look in the presentation. Pronunciation is important. Ahmed keeps asking the same question. Let's see. Practice more. Simple, true way to improve. Vivek is absolutely right. Practice. We have a saying in English, practice makes perfect. You absolutely need to practice 100%. As was said earlier, undoubtedly, unquestionably, absolutely, practice, practice, practice. Are we going to mess around the whole day without doing it? Oh, that's an old comment. Stay confident, take a breath, and go without fear. French Leo's right. Confidence. And this is true too. You can research it. Posing in a position of confidence. And this is my position of confidence. It might be a little different for you. Like shoulders back, arms spread wide, just kind of relaxing, opening your body up. What this does is it actually produces chemicals in your brain that relate to feelings of ease and confidence. If I were to be really nervous before my presentation and cross my arms and sort of protect my body, my brain actually produces chemicals that are akin to protecting yourself, to avoiding danger, those things, and it doesn't do anything but exacerbate my nerves. We have another phrase in English called fake it till you make it. And there's a lot of truth behind it and a lot of science behind it, where if you pretend to be confident, you are more confident. You can pretend yourself into a real elevated confidence simply by acting confident. You act confident, eventually you will become more confident. So do that as well. Teacher, when we have a lack in vocabulary, what can we do then? Waleed has a great question. A lack in vocabulary. This is an excellent question. When we have a lack in vocabulary, what can we do? And this is Waleed's question. So Waleed, when you lack vocabulary is something you build up over time. And I know that most students want, myself included, I wish I could learn Arabic overnight. I wish I could learn French overnight. It doesn't work that way. It takes time, right? But you can learn more quickly with really simple, easy steps. In my classes I teach here, in a week, my students learn 60 to 80 new vocabulary words that are themed. So stick with a theme. That is helpful. If you're reading about transportation, learn a bunch of transportation vocabulary that week. And don't try to learn 25 words in one night. Learn something more manageable. Choose 9. Or start even lower. Learn 3 words a day. Learn 3 words a day, and at the end of the week, you'll have 21 new vocabulary words. And test yourself. See if you remember all of them perfectly. How to spell them, how to pronounce them, how to use them correctly. And then if you did that with no problems, learn 4 words a day. Learn 5 words a day. And keep doing that. But at the end of the week, if you realize that you've forgotten half the words you set out to learn, what did you really do? You kind of wasted your time, right? If you completely forgot half the vocabulary. So don't try to learn 400 words in 1 week. That is probably something that will not be helpful long term for you. The analogy I give is, I tell my students who like to play football, soccer is what we say in America, but the students who want to play football, I say, would it be better for you to practice 20 hours in 1 day or 1 hour for 20 days? All of us know the answer to that question, right? Of course it is better to practice for 1 hour every day for 20 days. You're going to get more from that than practicing 20 hours in 1 day. 20 hours in 1 day, you might even hurt yourself and be worse off than if you were to practice for 1 hour for 20 days. So start slow. and go up, progress. That's how everything works in learning, right? We start with a small amount and we build from there. Why do I read the plural persons? I even read it in dictionaries. Persons is a word that you can use, kind of like coffees. You can use the word coffees in some contexts, in some situations. In American English, you might go into a shop, like a tea shop and a coffee shop, and say, wow, they offer so many coffees here. You mean types of coffee. So you may hear that, you may read it, you may hear and read persons, but 99% of the time, the word you're looking for is people. So you're better off to use the word people, and the one time you might be wrong in your life where it's supposed to be persons, it's not a big deal. But if you try to use persons all the time, it's going to be wrong 99% of the time. People is the word, people. Okay. Trying to make sure I get everybody's questions. If I miss yours, just ask it again, please. We can't make eye contact if we're presenting to 100 people. Nitesh is right. Scan the audience. Look at groups of people. Just make sure you're looking around. I gotta watch my time here. If anyone wants to learn vocabulary, there's lots of YouTube channels. Yeah, of course. There's tons of information online. Also, if you need to learn vocabulary about a specific area, send me an email, send Zach an email. We can kind of guide you too. Especially if you're a premium subscriber, there's probably a unit for it. Friendly faces in the audience. Yep. Yeah, you can look for friendly faces. You might see some sour faces too in the audience, but generally speaking, if someone is willing to even just listen to you, that's big, right? Even if they have some, mean look on their face, they're still listening to you, which is respectful. They're showing you respect by listening, so that's good. Transfer to the intermediate level. Musab asks, I feel I still go there forever. I need to know more information. Are you talking about transferring from the intermediate level in SMART in our live classes, or another school, or just in general, your ability level? Please explain more, and I'm happy to answer for you. French Leo says, it feels like it's a long trip to learn vocabulary. Long travel begins by a first step. Very wise knowledge there, right? That's your words too, right? You didn't steal that from anybody. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. That's a great saying that we have in English. I completely agree with French Leo. He's totally right. You have to start with just one little step, and everything builds from there. First row of the audience. Yeah, Vivek says, look at the first row of the audience. Yes and no. Sometimes that's even harder to do, and it may make you feel more nervous because they're right there, right in front of you. Generally, if I'm speaking to a crowd of 50 or more, or 100 or more, I'll kind of look just above the first row and then glance around the room as I speak. So hopefully that's helpful. Okay. I agree with Nora too. Ahmed, we can answer that question later. People. So the question is it pupil or people? Pupil means student. Oops. Is a student. People is the plural of person. Okay, person, people. Hopefully that helps. Synonym of student. Oh, okay, we already answered that too. Good job. Okay, can you send me mail? Yes. If you're talking to me, you might be talking to somebody else, but my email is joshua@smartenglish.com. I meant to type these earlier. You reminded me. Zach@smartenglish.com. He can set you up in a class, including this one. And hopefully that's helpful. Okay. All right. So short writing is important on slides. Yes. Bharat says short writing is important on the slides. Absolutely. Let's go ahead and look at Sarbajit's presentation now. I think it's time that we take a look at it. He was kind enough, as I said, SMRTEnglish.com. Sorry, I got to sign in here. Thought I was. Show it live. Sorry, guys. Typing is difficult today. All right. Okay, so I want to show you the final product of lots of comments that Sarbajit and I traded back and forth about creating his presentation. And then we're going to look at the presentation. Oops. And we're going to, let me bring this up really quick. We're going to look at the final product, but I think Sarbajit will be okay with me sharing when we look at a slide what it was like before, what improvements he made. Because I think it's really important to self-reflect, to look at our work and see what did I improve upon, what did I make better, so that, sorry about that, so that my presentation is the best it could be. So this is Sarbajit's first slide, and it is great. The audience is more not boring presentation. Yeah, okay, so I do have a lot of typos today. I'll try to fix those. That's what we do though, right? Even professional teachers, English teachers that have taught for 8 years make typos. We make mistakes. That's why we have to edit. So that's what Sarbajit did with his presentation. When he first put together this presentation, he went ahead and had a slide, and this was a little bit, I wonder if I can even show the edits on here. The title was a little bit smaller, and the photos weren't lined up like this. This is great. This is a beautiful first slide. It shows the topic, color shadows. Welcome to the journey to shadows. Color shadows is such an interesting topic to me because everyone thinks of a shadow as black. So a color shadow is instantly intriguing. He's hooked my attention. So it's really, really good. And I'm going to answer questions about this presentation. There's a lot of good dialogue going on, but I'll let you guys do that. I'll answer questions only about presentations for the last part of class. So there's just the right amount of image and text here. It's really great. Something you should keep in mind, this should be big. Your font should be big. French Leo or Nandish, whomever said, or Nitesh, whomever said that we should keep the language short on slides, you're absolutely right. The main information should come from the presenter. So this is a great first slide. We're going to go into the next slide. Oops. And this is using Prezi. If you're not familiar with Prezi, Prezi is a great tool. I think it's much better than PowerPoint or even Google Slides. So we zoom in here to the next slide. What are shadows? So Sarbajit asks a question and then answers it. A shadow is a place where light cannot reach. Now obviously Sarbajit is going to give more information here. He's going to present on this topic and give you more information. Really clean slide. It's not too distracting. So if I were standing up and I was presenting on this, I could look right at my audience. I could say, what are shadows? A shadow is a place where light cannot reach. We've all experienced shadows. You see your shadow in the daytime. Blah, 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 blah. Whatever I want to say on this slide, on this topic. Okay. So moving forward. Are shadows always black? Asking another question. What are shadows? Okay, now that we need shadows, are they always black? Most of us, until Sarbajit gives the rest of his information, are going to think, yeah, I've never seen a colored shadow, right? I think shadows are always black. And then he's going to explain more. how to make colored shadows. So now we're getting to the specifics of this presentation. I'm going to teach you something. Here are how to make colored shadows. And then another simple slide, right? We want to focus the attention on the necessary information. Materials required, flashlights, a red one, green one, a blue one. And then thermocol. Earlier we said don't use esoteric language. We said keep your slides simple. Sarbajit is doing all of this right here, and when he does choose to use a word, thermocol, I believe is how you pronounce that. This is a new word for me. This was not something I was familiar with. I learned something in this slide here. And Sarbajit knew that this might be an esoteric word. This might be a word that we do not know. So he was kind enough to define it for us with a word that is familiar, screen. If you've ever gone to the movies or sat in on a presentation, you probably know what a screen is, like a projector screen. So he defined this for us. I think that's a very important note to make. So keep that in mind. When you do use esoteric language, this is the only esoteric word in the whole presentation, I believe, and he was kind enough to define it. I think it's really important that he did that. Now, I would put a number here. I would say 3 flashlights, 1 thermocol, just for continuity, parallel structure. But other than that, I mean, this is a great, simple to the point slide. Arrange the flashlights like these. Now we have an image here. We have a cartoon kind of guy, and it shows us one way to arrange the lights. Complementary colors can make shadow in a great spectacular way. Yeah, so Ella knows a little bit about this. I didn't. This was all new information for me. It was very cool. So switch on the flashlights. All 3 of them mix to form white. Add an object to form color shadows. So now we're getting these specific directions. And Sarbajit's going to discuss, of course, he's presenting this information. And then this is another great diagram. It's scientific, but it's also simplified for us. So why is it happening? Let's start with the 2 light sources, red and blue. And then we get the next slide, the 3rd light. Let's add the green light too. And there's 2 examples here. There's sort of a 2-dimensional attempt at a 3-dimensional explanation, and then a sort of a Venn diagram here that also shows how the colors blend. It's really great. Okay, used as a screen. Okay, so the thermocol, Sarbajit is explaining better. And I'm just going to show you his presentation after this, because he is going to do a much better job than I'm doing right now, because this is his presentation, not mine. Then we have applications. So now that I've taught you something, here's why it's important to know it. So this is another great addition to this presentation. It's a how-to presentation, but he's establishing value. Sarbajit is making this information valuable to us. It could be used for festivals, light shows, many more uses. He's offering suggestions on how we can use this new information that we have. So that's very important too. Okay, now just one more tip. Remove the reflector. And he's going to say this can improve the whole process if you move the reflector. And Sarbajit and I video chatted about this, and he said, what should we use for this? He chose very good, simple images. The one that I suggested was actually really complex, and it didn't work out that well. So he made a good decision here in choosing this image. All right, and great end slide too. It's very important to thank your audience. As I said before, your audience is there, they're listening to you, they're giving you their attention. That's a good gift. Someone's attention, giving you their attention is a good gift. I think that it's fantastic that, let's see, questions. Senge, did you have a question that I missed? Oh, we're still joking about Ahmed's quiz that he's giving everybody, the whole class. Anyway, you introduce yourself. It's important to say who you are. It's also important to thank everyone for listening when you're done. Thank you so much for watching, for listening. And don't forget to play with them. So it stays with the theme. It's a very colorful image. I think that's great. So good job there. All right, so now that we've seen all of these slides, I'm gonna back off because that is the last one there. Let's go ahead and watch how Sarbajit presented this information, his actual speaking skills. And thank you again, Sarbajit. Everybody please thank Sarbajit for sharing this with us and allowing us to use this in class, because I think we can all benefit from getting to see one of our students present. Now, if you want to do the same thing, if you want your presentation to be shown in class, please share it with me. I'll give you corrections. You can try to make it perfect. And then I will share it with everybody if you give me permission to. I think it'd be really cool. So this is Sarbajit, and here is his presentation. I'm just going to turn off my mic and we will listen.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Sarbajit. Today I'm going to show you color shadows. So first of all, what are shadows? Shadows is a place where light cannot reach. And I'm going to show you how shadows can be colorful. To do this experiment, we need a screen, 3 flashlights, red, green and blue in order, and a pen. Please switch off the lights. So let's get started. I'm switching on all the 3 flashlights, and in the place where 3 of the flashlights meet, we get a white color, white light. And if I put this, wow, color shadows, how is it forming? To understand it, if I switch off the green light, we can see red and blue shadow. How is it forming? Because blue light cannot reach here, it is getting obstructed by the pen, and red light fills this space up and it's red shadow. Red light cannot reach here for the same reason, and blue light fills this space up and it's becoming blue shadow. When I am switching on the green light too, I am getting magenta, yellow and cyan shadow. So how is it forming? Because red light cannot reach in this place, and green and blue mixes and forms cyan. Green light cannot reach this place, and red and blue mixes and forms magenta, and blue light cannot reach here, and green and red mixes and forms yellow. And could you switch on the light please? And now you'll ask, what are its applications of the color shadows? So it's used in festivals and light shows. In fact, it was first introduced in Royal Albert Hall, London in 1972. And one more tip, if you want to do it at home, you will see these reflectors in the torch, in the flashlight. Just remove it, it will make it easier for you to do. And that's it. Thanks for watching.
Awesome. So awesome. Thank you so much, Sarbajit, for sharing that with us. That's really, really cool. And a brave thing to do, to show your video and share it with us. That's really, really cool that you wanted to do that for everybody. I think he did a great job presenting. So cool to see the dynamic effect of the lights. I feel like I learned a lot. And it's really, really neat. I also noticed his speaking was very good. It was very clear. It may be a little bit fast, actually, because sometimes we speak a little more quickly when we're trying to present or perform. But it was great. It was really, really great. Another thing I noticed is Sarbajit and I had a conversation about torch versus flashlight. British English calls it a torch, the light. In American English, we say flashlight. So that is a small difference. In some countries in the world, in English, they'll say torch. In other countries, they'll say flashlight. Sarbajit did a great job during his presentation of simply saying the torch, the flashlight, defining it parenthetically, saying both terms. Absolutely great that he did that, because then you get all speakers of all English. You kind of define it for British English and American English. So good job. Okay, so that is it for today. We've gone over our hour because we started a little bit late, but we're almost exactly at an hour right now. Special thanks to Sarbajit for doing such a great job putting a presentation together and sharing his video with us. If you have your own presentation video that you want to share with us, please send it to me. I'll even give you feedback and help you make it perfect, and then we can present it to the class if you want. So really cool. You're world famous now, Sarbajit. You've gone out to countries all over the world, so feel proud of yourself. You did a great job. You worked really hard. I'm proud of you as your teacher. I'm proud of all of our students for the great questions and us being here, helping each other out, improving our English every week. Come back next week. We will be here same time, same place, this YouTube channel. And we are at 7:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Just Google it. You can find the conversion for your own local time. I really appreciate all the kind comments. Again, please, everyone, thank Sarbajit. And you're getting an applause all around the world. I'll clap my hands right now for you. Thanks again, everybody. You guys are great. And I will see you next week, okay? We have a brand new topic. Check it out. Maybe I'll put something on Facebook announcing what the topic's going to be. Until then, you'll just have to wait. But I think everybody who is interested in analytics and writing will be very pleased with our new topic choice. So send me an email if you have any further questions. I have to go for now. But good job. You guys are great. And, okay. Ahmed's question. Let's go back and see. What was that sentence you kept saying again and again, Ahmed? Fill in the blank. Are we going to blank around the whole day without doing anything useful? Mess around the whole day? Are we going to screw around the whole day? Are we going to maybe British English knock around? I don't know. I'm not sure Britishisms. There's a lot of different things you could say in that sentence. Mess around the whole day is what I would say. Probably. Are we going to mess around the whole day and not do anything useful? So Ahmed, there's the answer to the question that you asked all throughout class. Thank you for sticking with us. Let's all try to stay on topic in the classes, but I really do appreciate and love the back and forth comments, the practice of our English. You guys are great students. Happy to be your teacher. Have a wonderful day. And as always, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Hi everyone. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe to our channel. Also, if you want the full experience of being a student in a Smart Live class with things like homework and teacher feedback, follow the link and become a premium subscriber. Also, if you want to see more videos from this class, check out our playlist.